Winds are calm, and it's a really pleasant evening on this final day of March, final sunset of March 2021. It's been interesting. We've had mostly clear skies today, but here at around sunset, clouds moving in from the west, very light clouds. Maybe we'll grab some color. Hey, Zach. I hope you're doing well, Zach. I've noticed some California sea lions as I was setting up here, swimming by. I don't see them at this very moment, but I do see some birds on the water just beneath the railroad tracks. So that's interesting, Zach. I'm glad you were able to watch on Periscope. I wanted to do a final Periscope broadcast today, but when I went to do it, the options were gone. It said it's please go to Twitter, and I couldn't see anything other than this goodbye message and a link to go to Twitter. So when I set this up, I thought, you know what? I almost disabled the Periscope share, but I thought I'll still share the Periscope just in case some people are still able to access it. And lo and behold, you found a way. Yeah. A couple of things I'm noticing. Okay, I'm noticing I don't have the Zoom button available right now. Fantastic day today in the PNW. Golf Nut, no doubt. I hope you're doing well, Golf Nut. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I bet you some people are going to get some nice color at sunset here in Washington State. So the usual button to Zoom is not where I'm used to seeing it. That is interesting. Got to out your phone in airplane mode, then open the app, then turn off airplane mode. Wow, it's nice in Sudden Valley. I bet you that's beautiful. Fully shut down the app first. Thank you for the heads up. Did you play around to figure that out, or was that just a coincidence as you were messing with your phone? It sounds like you were driven to figure it out, how you might get back in. As I was arriving, the ferry was arriving from Whidbey Island, so it's in dock and out of our view right now. But as long as I can maintain the signal, got the phone charging simultaneously, so we should be good for power. We should be able to see the ferry leave Mukilteo as well. Imagine that'll be in about 10 or 15 minutes. Is that a gator? Or down there? No, those are just rocks. At really low tide, we see all those rocks. Right now, we're just seeing the tops of them. Tide's up a bit. Someone told you about it. Okay. Carl West, thanks for following on Twitter. So, what's really interesting here, you guys, is there was a zoom button. It was kind of precariously placed for the iPhone anyway, because it was at the bottom of the screen. When you went to grab it, it might be like pulling up your video. Mary Heft, thank you for joining. Hello, how are you? Great to have you here. Wow. And Jeff is here on Periscope. Jeff is able to access the Periscope app as well. So Zach and Jeff both watching on Periscope. I was not able to. I couldn't scope. I couldn't scope directly from Periscope when I opened the app before coming out here. I was at home, so it was about 45 minutes ago. I opened up the Periscope app on my iPhone, and there was basically a farewell message with a link to go to Twitter, encouraged me to stream live directly from Twitter. So I was a bit disappointed because I was thinking, oh no, I can't say goodbye to everybody on Periscope after 6 years of broadcasting, although I've basically been doing it the last several days here on Haps and streaming to Periscope as well as other social platforms. Meantime, folks are watching over on Facebook thinking, who uses Periscope? Well, oh, I see a bunch of sea lions out there. They're passing the bend. I can't zoom though. April Fool's joke. Yeah, I've heard somebody speculate about that. Okay, this is going to be frustrating because I can see that the California sea lions are coming this way. I can't zoom though. If anybody knows how we can zoom today on HAPS because it's not there as an option like it was yesterday or the day before, I don't have that option to zoom. So I thought maybe it's a pinch and zoom and zoom out, but no. But I can tell you there are about 3 or 4 California sea lions that just rounded the bend coming towards us around that bend out there, just beyond the people to the right on the beach. And they'll come this way, and that's what they do, is they just chase fish all along the coastline about 20 to 30 yards out. Well, good news is the sky is mostly clear. We might get a little color here. I don't know, between Periscope and Apple. I mean, could they do anything secretly without us knowing it? My battery is tempting to think they could, at least Apple. All right, let's look over this way and keep an eye out for those sea lions. Hey, Janine, thank you for the high five. Right back at you. Janine, I don't know if you caught the replay because I could see that you weren't. I just saw, by the way, a sea lion pop up over here. Oh, it's so far away. Janine, since I think you may have just joined, maybe you know the answer. Thank you, Mary. Isn't it nice out here? It's calm. I was out here the other day in a storm. I had hail blasting me in the face. Um, but it's calm tonight. Yeah, I'm seeing some sea lions popping their heads up just over here and just over here. They'll come this way and they'll go by, but I just don't know how to zoom. And Janine, that's my question. So the HAPS app today, I don't see the usual zoom button. There was a zoom button here on my iPhone in landscape mode to the where the chat bot where you enter your chat. It was to the right of that, next to the camera option and the microphone option. Now it's gone. So I don't know what that's about. Jeff, I'm so glad you're here too from Orlando. I want to thank you and very much for following along and sharing your life and joining these broadcasts as well. Zach, it's been wonderful to have you along on Periscope. I'll just point out, I know there's at least one sea lion now. It's approaching. It's passing right to left. There'll be more, but it's in this general area. There, it's right out there. But I just can't zoom. If anybody knows where the secret zoom button is, I wanted to say the secret sauce, the secret zoom button. You're welcome, Jeff. We've had some good conversations and some good moments, haven't we? And I think we had built a really good community, or helped contribute to it. Let's put it that way. I've just been up here in a little corner of the Pacific Northwest, showing a lot of birds and wildlife and sunsets and sunrises. There he goes, just stuck his head out, he or her. So the sea lion just was popping up right there. You can see its backside there. But Janine, oh, there are two of them right there. There are at least two of them. One just rolled on its back. What a pity I can't zoom in. That is weird. Yeah, they're out there. Just strolling by. Nothing came up. Thanks, Jeff. Well, hey, Tom. Tom, I don't know how to zoom on HAPS today. The zoom button's gone, at least on my app. And these sea lions just passed by, and I think there are a few more stragglers behind them. I'll keep an eye out. They go back and forth, and I can't zoom in on them. Tom, I saw that you went live twice, around 5 o'clock tonight and then 5:30. I missed the notifications. I do subscribe to you. but you were walking the shoreline beneath the bluff there on the other side of Whidbey Island. So there's Whidbey Island to the uninitiated, and on the other side of that narrow but long island is, I believe, where Tom was in Coopville, near Coopville. Don't know how to do much on Haps. Well, that's all right. Then you and I are in the same club. Although I've been learning a bit, but there was a zoom button on the bottom, and there's another sea line out there. Can't zoom. So there are 122 people apparently watching. If anybody knows where the zoom button is on Haps today, because it's not where it was the last time I went live on Haps using the iOS app, which was, I believe, maybe day before yesterday. Lavender Debs got on Periscope for a few minutes before it froze. Well, Deb, based on what you told me, and it's not surprising, the picture's better on YouTube anyway. But that's at least a minor victory that you were able to join on Periscope. I was just sharing that when I went on Periscope just to open the app and look at it about an hour ago, it was basically telling me sayonara. It was a farewell message. We're all done here. So there was no familiar view of broadcasts or my content or maps or anything else. It was just a link to Twitter. Bye-bye Periscope. But back to Janine. I'll finish this up. Janine, was it yesterday? Tom, I know you've watched the video 5 times now, featuring the Pacific herring spawn on Vancouver Island. Last year's video and spawn. I shared that during a live broadcast on Haps. I think it was yesterday. It all blends together this week. And yeah, Janine, I'm sorry you couldn't make it. I know you were busy, probably working real estate deals up there on the island. But you were definitely featured in that broadcast. I did that from home, and I went into the Google browser on a laptop, and I used Haps.tv's live broadcast interface, broadcast studio. Kind of like, for those of you who might be familiar with OBS or Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio, somewhat like that. Same principle. There are definitely some different elements. Golfna, I'm watching you on Periscope, but I clicked link to the website and saw you were on. Ah, so would it be the Periscope website or the Haps.tv website? And by the way, you guys, and I can't do any zooming, unfortunately, but there's some nice pink just kind of catching the water right through there. Don't know if that translates very well to the picture, but it's nice out here right now. No sign of bald eagles. And so far, no train. Okay, I just saw another California sea lion heading this way, but I can't zoom. It's out there. Oh, you're from, Tom, you're in Oak Harbor. Are you either going into or coming out of work? Isn't the Home Depot that you work at in Oak Harbor? Mary says, if you're using an iPhone, you can try to zoom by using fingers and center of screen and try and do it that way. Well, I'll try that again. I tried it earlier. Yeah, it's not working. Let me see what happens if I hide the chat. Okay, I'm briefly hiding the comments anyway. I can do that. But that just shows me a little notification that there's now two new messages. Okay, you got some good feedback here. First of all, Deb on YouTube says, saw farewell message 2, but hit the back button and it worked for a few last hearts before freezing. Well, at least you got a taste of it on March 31st, ground zero, last day. And I can't zoom in, but there's another sea lion just out there, passing right to left. And there's at least one. There might be, yeah, there are 2 I can see now. And they're out there, just poking their heads up, chasing fish, kind of cruising. They kind of do it, it always seems like cruise control to me. All right. And Tom says he's in Coopville. Don't know why it comes up Oak Harbor. Huh. Well, it says hello from Oak Harbor. That's weird. Oh, because you just put the wave sign and Haps defaulted to sharing it what it thinks is your location. Wow. Okay. I think that's what's going on there, Tom. And Jeff says, I hit the jackpot at a thrift store, Mark. Got a professional Canon 5, extra lenses, 3 batteries. That is awesome, Jeff. I've been talking cameras the last few days, including today in an antique store where my son wanted me to take him for his 10th birthday. Long story short, and you'll appreciate this, Jeff. He settled for he wanted he already had his birthday presents open this morning, but he had his eye on a couple of phones, telephones, and one was a Kermit the Frog phone, and one was a Goofy, the Disney character Goofy phone, an animated Goofy. He kind of moves as when you press a button and says some funny stuff. And truly, they're not antiques. That phone came out, it turns out, in 2005. It's like new, and it didn't even look like it'd ever been used. But I know how you are into Disney, so I just thought I'd share that. Pete, it's wonderful to have you here as always from Florida. So we've got Jeff from Orlando, and Pete, I forget which beautiful beach you live along, but Pete does awesome broadcasts, you guys. He's got years under his belt on Periscope showing sunrises and sunsets with those marvelous skies. It's late in Florida. Hollywood Beach, that's right. I've seen that several times. Hollywood Beach, of course. Nothing terribly dramatic, but nice and mild here. I'll tell you the temperature and you'll go, ooh, a burr. But for us, it's pleasant considering recent days and weeks. We're at 53 degrees when I started. Thanks for saying hello there, Pete. And the ferry is now leaving Mukilteo. Hey, Pete, maybe you can help me out. Big question for you. Here's the question. It's regarding the Haps mobile app. Now, I have an iPhone. And I think the last time I was live on Haps using my phone was 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Anyhow, there was a zoom button on the bottom. I'm in landscape mode. And I would have to drag that up to zoom in. It was not very precise. It was abrupt. But there's no zoom button now. So I've been wanting to zoom in on these California sea lions passing by. I've been wanting to zoom in on some birds, people taking pictures, now the ferries, and I don't know how to zoom. And I've tried pinching, the screen from the center and elsewhere. I just don't see a zoom button. Are you aware of any update to the app or any talk of removing the zoom button? Yeah, it was there just a few days ago. Have to pay extra for Zoom. Yeah, or maybe the term's being patented now. Zoom. I don't know. I'm just joking. Don't take that seriously. Catching a little bit of color. I just can't do any Zoom. Last time we were here, we had a couple of bald eagles here. We've had, in fact, the last 2 visits here, I believe we've had bald eagles. But I stood right underneath one atop a tree here. But it was as that storm had just passed overhead. We had quite a storm. It blasted me with hail coming in at me sideways practically. Pete says, I have not broadcasted from Haps in a few days and haven't heard anything about the Zoom. Okay. I've got a thought on Haps. There are obviously a lot of pluses. I won't detail them here. And I heard Randy Horton address this, and I feel like it's spot on. Coming from Periscope to Haps, one of the things I find myself wanting to default to is to look at what's going on live around the world. Familiar parts of the country or Canada or overseas or South America, Australia. I mean, I'm so used to Periscope and being able to do that. Haps is extremely limiting as far as I can tell right now in terms of the variety that I can see that is live. Typically the best I can get is a list of 4 or 5 maybe live streams that might have something to do with what I'm interested in, and sadly often isn't. And then the rest of the options are to subscribe to people. Tom says, yes, I missed that. So it's free. I appreciate the platform, and I know that they're working on it. I have to say that when I was using the Haps broadcast studio on my laptop, I was really impressed with the low latency. They've improved that, and so the delay is is very short compared to what I'm used to seeing in all sorts of live streaming platforms. So I was very impressed by that. They don't have a worldwide global trending list who's broadcasting. No, no. And we saw it all on Periscope, literally over the years. It was like sometimes people at Twitter were falling asleep at the wheel. Anything it seemed could get on right there for a while. But I got so I'm used to looking for breaking news, whether it was forest fire coverage or um, some other hard news, including in Europe, where there were police responses to major events, if you will, let's put it that way. Um, there was really a great window to follow events as they unfolded, in addition to all of the nice travel and talk and art and other things and self help, all that kind of stuff. Just catching a bit of pink on the water out there. I'm going to go walk down this end though. After the windstorm the other day, most of the blossoms are now off these cherry trees. Yeah. This is nice. Someone left some roses out here. This is new. I wouldn't be surprised if someone left that there to remember someone. This is a historic cemetery. That's a bench. I can't zoom, but I will share that the Olympics are very much visible. The Olympic Mountains, that is. They're beyond Whidbey Island. I can see the peaks. And as I come to the cemetery from the east, because I live in a town called Snohomish, about 15 miles away, as I approach here, I'm on higher ground and I can see so much more of that mountain range. But then you come down considerably in elevation toward the water, but you can still just make out the peaks on a clear day. Thank you, Tom. Take care, my friend. Jeff, I would say it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. See, there's a double-edged sword there. It's always nice when things bloom, but a lot of the view here gets obstructed when that happens. A lot of it got chopped down or slid down last year. One of the long-standing issues here north of Seattle is this stretch of railroad. For several miles, it's very common to have slides in the springtime when we have a lot of rain and storms pounding this area. And the slides will come down and the railroad will be closed, and that affects commuter traffic on the railroad. We have what we call the Sounder train, as well as Amtrak, and very commonly Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. Long trains. Uh, well, by my standards, it's not too cold. Consider what we've had the last few months, right? So we got up toward the mid 50s today. It was about 53 when I started the scope, so it's probably around 51 or 52 right now. I'd say this guy has a pretty good view right here next to the cemetery, don't you think? Did, did they still have tours of the underground of Seattle pre-COVID? That's a great question. Um, I've never heard that they stopped doing that. I know those tours were extremely popular. And you know what? I never did it. That's a typical case, isn't it? The local never does that thing. Every town has that thing, and there are a lot of locals that never do it. And I never did that. The first time I became aware of underground Seattle, honestly, was when I was a kid and I watched a show called The Night Stalker with Darren McGavin. And there was a whole scary episode about the ongoings. I think it was a headless motorcycle rider or something in underground Seattle. Pete, there was a Darren McGavin, yes. Golf nut. After Sunday, it was balmy today, yes. I mean, I stood here, right here on this patch of ground, set up to go live. I have my tripod out here, my DSLR, and my phone, and I was trying to weather protect my microphone, my wireless mic receiver, um, and audio adapter that I use to have a wireless lavalier. And as I was setting up, and I had plastic around the sensitive gear to protect it. As I was setting up, literally right here, right here in front of this bench, hail just started. I mean, the wind just whipped up, and it was coming in powerfully. And we had been having some wind episodes in this area above 50 miles per hour earlier in the day, that same day. But the hail just came screaming down as if diagonally across the water, not down, straight down, but at an angle. And it pelted my face. And I remember I was just taking off my mask because I was the only one here, or the only one without the, the only one without the sense to, let's just say I was proceeding where most would have fled. And I thought, hey, this is cool, breaking weather. And I took off my mask, and I remember the sting of the hail on my face. And this was, it happens commonly, right? But not around the globe, and even here and there, more like up in the foothills of the mountains. But that was quite surprising for down here, and it got really cold, and especially with that wind. And I could not feel my fingertips. So I was wearing fingerless gloves. You saw me as you sat in house watching college basketball. Well, that's probably what I should have been doing. But I've had a lot, I hadn't up until about a week or two ago. I've been flying under the radar much of this year on social. I've been really busy with some projects. Got to return to one of those tonight, the major project, and hope to tell you more about it a bit later this year. I'll give it about 5 more minutes because the only thing we haven't had so far in terms of the usual cast of characters is the train. Usually we get a train. The last time I was here, I know that a train, right after I ended my the live broadcast, a train went by. It's kind of our ritual to have the train go by. A few days ago, we did a live stream from down on the beach, and just around the bend, there's a lighthouse, a historic lighthouse. We were there. And there were also people on the beach with their several fires were going, people gathered around the campfire, so to speak. It was a really nice evening. That was before the storm. That was literally the day before the storm, the calm, if you will, because that was a nice evening. Okay, I think I see a sea lion. Just saw the shadowy, long figure. Yeah, it's out there. So you see the rock there, just off to the left out here. Beyond it, there is a sea lion feeding in that area. Wish I could zoom. There it goes. It's way out there. Zach, boy, what are my thoughts on the multicasting feature of Haps? I like having that option. It's great. Um, Spoke about that in a recent scope. You know, a lot of times people who want to do that would have to do a paid service to channel it through via RTMP, like RealStream IO, and or not RealStream. It's I'm forgetting the name of it, but there are several such. There are at least two main players in that space. Restream, and that's good. I know that there are a lot of people who like it. The My mind also gets pulled in another direction. You know, I have a subscription, a few subscriptions. One's to a streaming software app, Switcher Studio, which right out of the phone I can go to different platforms, but I'm not filling up my real estate on screen with the branding of another, a third party, right? And so, for example, with Haps, you have the coins and these by default these dollar things and stuff like that. And I like what I can do with Switcher Studio. It has many wonderful features, but it is a paid app and it's not cheap. In fact, it's going up to $45 a month later this year. But it's a real powerful app that lets me use multiple iOS devices together wirelessly. So I've done it with Switcher Studio here and down at the beach where I've had 3 or 4 iOS devices, iPhones and iPads, and I can switch between the cameras. That's pretty darn cool. And I can also play video back, even 1080p, smoothly, and photographs and create my own graphics. I love all that. But I can't bring that into Haps. What are the cons of the feature? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm always making the best decisions on where I'm sharing. What do you guys think? I'd like to know from you. For example, I I gave it thought even before I left my home tonight. Do I stream from Haps to all of the available platforms tonight? Is this really suitable for my YouTube audience? Because it's not historically what I would show on my YouTube channel. It's not historically what I would share on my Facebook page, my Beyond 90 Seconds Facebook page. I've shared this type of content really on Periscope and Twitter. That's where I've done it for years. The other places have been for either my edited videos, which are usually, higher production value, and my photographs. So I don't know if this is what my Facebook followers, if you will, care to really see. I noticed that there are some comments from Facebook that have landed, but it doesn't get as much engagement based on the thumbs up and comments as the stuff I've historically, the videos and photographs I've typically uploaded to Facebook. And I could say, same thing basically for my YouTube channel. Well, it's interesting because that's a great point. I can see the comments. The broadcaster can see the comments from the various apps, but if you're on Periscope, I do not believe you're seeing the comments coming in from Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, right? So that would make it very limiting. StreamYard, T Roses asks, hi T Roses. I've not heard of StreamYard, but thank you for letting me know. I'll tell you a quick funny story. In fact, I forgot to check whether I enabled it for this broadcast. I went and reactivated my Twitch account. I probably did some very simple broadcasts years ago on Twitch, not gaming, but I reactivated it. It hadn't been used for years, so I had to request to have it reactivated. I was thinking, well, some people are going to Twitch, people who are leaving Periscope. And my bio on Twitch says something about 2010, and I now use I was using Justin.tv or whatever it was. Anyway, It had been years and years since I had been on Twitch. To log in anyway. I've seen some stuff here and there, but it's almost always gaming, isn't it? I know there's IRL in real life, and I know some Periscope folks have gone to Twitch. And I'm tempted to download the Twitch software for broadcasting because I was looking at that and it seems pretty robust. But again, my 12-year-old son said, "Dad, you don't want to be on Twitch." Casper NL is using everything. So I take it Casper NL is maybe a user on here on Haps? Is that a person? And by using everything, do you mean opting to enable all the social platforms when streaming from Haps? Or by using everything, do you mean like experimenting with different broadcast studios such as OBS and others? Mary says, I appreciate being able to catch you live on YouTube since I don't get onto Periscope or Twitter much. Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback. That's good to hear. That is good to hear. And that's one of the things that I've been contemplating. I shared that in a recent broadcast as I was kind of reflecting on the same topic, and that is I want to make sure that my content is accessible. Broadcaster, yes. Okay, thank you, T Roses. I think I might be hearing a train way off to in the distance, perhaps coming this way, off to our left or to our south, down that way. So we'll see. I'll hang in here for a few more. I can also, using Haps, when I go on my computer and open Google Chrome and go to haps.tv, it has the opportunity to go live using the computer, so a laptop or a PC, using the Chrome browser in either of those two situations. You can go live using, inside of Chrome, what Haps calls its broadcast studio. And it's pretty good. I've been tried it a couple times recently, and I was actually really impressed with the quality and the lack of latency. It's not bad at all in that regard. Oh yeah, and when you use that's what I was going to say. When using the broadcast studio on a PC or a computer inside of Google Chrome at haps.tv, it's a mouthful. Just want to make sure I'm clear. But in addition to sharing, uh, and I think you can do it in the iOS app too. You can RTMP. So basically, you can send the signal to another content delivery network. And I have a subscription to a service, and I did that the other day. I was able to do that and then embed the live stream in my website. I just as easily could have used the URL or embed code for the YouTube feed to my YouTube channel. But it was nice in terms of accessibility to say, hey, you can also find the stream at beyond90seconds.com/live, or just go to beyond90seconds.com and at the top, click on the live tab. I'm not doing that right now because I need to be at my PC to start that stream. Um, but yeah, the recent HAPS update I would say is impressive, and I know the guys were talking about that 2 or 3 days ago in their broadcast. Pablo, and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. T Roses, do you do a lot of streaming? Kind of hard to see inside the cemetery here now. It's getting pretty dark. Zach, thank you for liking on Twitter. No, you do a lot of watching. Okay, good. Yeah, it's nice to see different places around the world and listen to various conversations and even participate. Oh, this guy's got a fire going on in the backyard, I think now. Nope, maybe not. It's just a light. Okay. It's nice to hear the sound of the birds well into twilight. It got dark pretty quick, all right, Zach. And you see that bright light? So I'm looking pretty much directly west. In, in the heart of winter, we'll see that light to our southwest, down this way. Sun goes down really early during the day in winter. And then when we get into the heart of summer, that bright light is to the northwest, and we'll even have some light. Sun will be have set already, but even after 10 o'clock, we'll have some light emitting from that area, which is really wonderful. If you like to get outdoors after work, get out with your camera, or do some live streaming. Isn't it to have all that extra light well into the evening? Dave in Osaka just did a long stream to Twitch. Oh, okay. Did you watch it on Twitch then, T Roses? And if so, what did you think of the Twitch viewing experience? If you don't mind sharing. I'm going to have to get to the heart of this lack of Zoom button today on this app. Ferry's coming in from Whidbey Island. It's heading this way, all lit up. Yes, it was very good. Okay. What do you have a preference? So you're watching on Periscope right now, but you're seeing what this looks like on Haps. So you're seeing all the eye candy and opportunities to click and donate and things like that here on Haps. How do you? And I know there's some of that that goes on Twitch as well, I believe. So, do you have a preference in terms of the uh, the delivery method, Haps versus Twitch? Out there is the ferry coming this general direction, leaving the island. There I am. Just took the mask off to say hello. There's my mask. It's nice to take a break from it, actually. I was double masking earlier today because I went into a store, and I don't go into stores. Haven't really done much of any of that for over a year. But my son, for his 10th birthday, really wanted to go into an antique store. What 10-year-old says that? You can't turn that down. So we double masked and we went in. You can turn off the eye candy. Oh, I did not know that. Is that on both or on Haps or just on Twitch? I'm surprised we have not had a train. Oh, the broadcaster has to turn it off. Ah, okay. On HAPS. Okay. I did see that there were some, obviously there would be settings, and there were a lot of options there. I just haven't played much in them. So that's good to know. And I figured that what they were primarily aimed at was donation goals and things related to those dollar figure symbols and people contributing at the top. Yeah, if I can get rid of that, I think I want to get rid of that. Although I'd still like to be able to acknowledge anybody who, if they did that, if they donated. So a ferry's about to appear from behind the tree, the one that's leaving Mukilteo. So we've been out here for a little bit now. Stream is going 47 minutes long. We have a great signal. There's the ferry appearing. Sadly, I can't zoom, but maybe that's a good thing because it's dark and it would just be a bunch of glorious pixels. Large and fuzzy. So on the middle of your screen, the ferry leaving Mukilteo, and up there to the left in the distance, the ferry that's coming from Whidbey Island to Mukilteo. Hey, Dave in Chicago, good to have you here again, my friend. Hope you've been doing well. It's been what, 3 days maybe? 2 or 3 days? Nice to see you. View is nice and it's dark. Got dark fast, as was mentioned in the comments a moment ago. That's good to hear, Dave. We're going to wrap up our broadcast day right over here, as we do from time to time. The proverbial two ships passing in the night out there on Puget Sound. So calm, so nice this evening. There we go. Indeed, this concludes our broadcast day, the last day of March 2021. So long, Periscope, and more haps for now. It's a clear night and it's very pleasant. Thank you all so much for checking out this broadcast. Hope to see you again soon. Stay safe out there. Bye, everybody.